This ain't your father's housing market. Here are 8 things you need to forget about if you want to purchase a new home. Hey everyone, I'm Nick Sundahl with Acta Homes, and this is Minneapolis Living. If this is your first time here, I make videos about moving and living here in the Twin Cities, and of course the real estate process that goes around that if you're planning to put down roots. If that's the content you're here for, you know the drill. You gotta hit the subscribe button. Also ring the bell, that way you're alerted when I upload new content. Now on to the 8 things you need to forget about when it comes to home buying in today's real estate market. And the first one is list price. Forget about the list price. Frankly, it's already done its job. It's gotten you to pay attention to the property. A list price is only a marketing tactic. It could represent what the seller wants, but in this case, we know that you're probably getting into multiple bids, so the list price really doesn't matter. So going into the home, you want to find out whether you find value in it at a given number and or what you're willing to pay for it. And that leads us into the second thing you need to forget, and that is the comps. The comps are what happen in the rearview mirror. Comps are short for comparable sales, which means closed deals. Well, that really doesn't make much of a difference when we're talking about such an explosive market. So when you're looking at a home, the comps really don't set the price. It's going to be a buyer, either yourself or your competition. Now, I do like to take a look at comps in the overall neighborhood to make sure that you wouldn't be pricing yourself well out of that range of the comparable sales. However, if you find value in the home that you're looking at, you need to be aggressive and forget the comps. Number 3, forget what you think the home is worth. Because your opinion of what the home is worth is only good for you and what you're willing to write an offer for. So as we know, a product, whether it's a house, a car, or perhaps even a baseball card, is only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. And your job as the buyer is to beat out your competition. Because mind you, in almost every home sale that we're seeing out there, there's competition with trying to get the home. So even if somebody's willing to pay well above what you think it's worth, it's really kind of irrelevant because inventory is so low, you need to start thinking about what you would be willing to pay. And that leads me into number 4, and this is a really hot button topic because, well, it's appraisals and appraisers. You need to forget about them. Now, there is one caveat here. If you're an FHA buyer or a VA buyer, there are contingencies written into the purchase agreement that you can walk away from the purchase agreement or cancel the contract if the home doesn't appraise to the level that the purchase price says it should. If you're a conventional buyer, you need to be prepared to bring extra cash because even though I said forget the comps, appraisers, well, they can't. They have to actually look at closed sales as a basis of the value of the home when it comes to working for the banks. Now, there are some things you can do. Hopefully you've got enough cash in which you can either cover any appraisal gap shortage, or you can readjust your loan type to pull cash and loan to value to cover that shortfall. Many buyers are writing in assurances into the contract stating they're willing to cover any appraisal shortfall. Whereas in past markets, if an appraisal came in low, you could potentially renegotiate with the seller. However, competition is so high, sellers want that guaranteed dollar. So make sure you either have the cash or be prepared to get it if your appraisal falls short. Number 5, forget searching at your maximum purchase price. This really speaks to your budget and the previous number 4, because if you're looking at homes at $500,000 and that's all you're really approved up to, you're probably going to get beat out pretty consistently. So you want to take a look at homes that are $450,000 or even less, because if the home is desirable really in any way, you're probably going into competition, which means you're going to be pushing the price point up anyway. So making sure you have that buffer zone will go a long way for you to be able to actually win the deal. With limited budget comes number 6, and that's forget looking for your dream home. I know this might be hard to hear for some people, but In today's market, not every seller is going to do every new contemporary update that you're looking for as a buyer. And unless you have an unlimited budget, you really aren't going to get everything you want as it is, because there is so much competition and such low inventory. So the advice here would be find something that fits your criteria in terms of your overall lifestyle, and you can do the updates yourself over a period of time. Now, you also might have to take a little bit less desirable to get the most desirable or your dream home further down the road. But really, when it comes down to it, is having realistic expectations that not every house is going to be perfect, and then you may have to do some work and update it yourself to get it to be your dream home. Hey, if you're finding value in this video, I would love it if you hit the like button. It helps my videos get out to more people. Always leave a comment if you have any questions, but don't forget to subscribe. And if you're thinking about moving to the Twin Cities or around the Twin Cities, please reach out. You can call, text, email, slide into my DMs on social media, but I'd love to start the conversation. Now on to the final 2 items you need to forget. And going with number 7, forget the status quo. Honestly, you got to get creative when it comes to writing these offers. In the past, a lot of buyers would submit buyer love letters to the seller. The issue with this is that we have fair housing laws, and it could get the seller in trouble if they choose you over somebody else based on the letter and not your financial ability to purchase the home, because it could be construed as discriminatory. There are a couple things you can do, and at least these tips. 1, paying the seller closing costs. That sounds a little ridiculous, but it can do 2 things that are very helpful. 1, the seller gets to keep more of their money in the proceeds from the sale of their home, but it also doesn't affect the loan at all, which is nice, especially when it comes to these appraisal issues. 2, you could take possession of the home after closing, which gives the seller time to not only close on their home, but then collect a check and go purchase a home freely without any contingencies. So there are some things you can do to get creative when it comes to purchasing, especially when you were getting into these multiple offer situations. And finally, number 8, forget giving up. It's frustrating, it can be agonizing, it feels like you're banging your head against a brick wall, but those who don't give up are the ones who are finding a home. And while these tips might fly in the face of traditional purchasing real estate, if you take them to heart and really analyze what you're doing, along with your realtor's help, will go a long way for you to win the home of your own. So this is Minneapolis Living. I really appreciate you watching. Please stay safe, please stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.